No, because this video is sponsored by Kirkland Signature. Just copped a huge brand sponsor.
And we're gonna buy a Lambo soon because of this brand sponsor.
And then sell a course on how you can get brand sponsors and buy Lambos. But we've got Trevin Peterson, who is an Amazon FBA seller and a college dropout. Fair to say.
Yeah.
Has an associate's degree. So let's talk, if you're cool with it, a little bit about how you found out about Amazon
let's do
FBA.
it.
And then just like your first go at it, and then kind of where you're at.
Okay.
So how'd you first find out about it?
So Amazon FBA, I first started doing like Shopify drop shipping, where I was shipping out. I ordered some stuff off of AliExpress, and I did kind of half and half, where I had some of the inventory at my house, some of the inventory I was drop shipping, and it was just so hard. No one knew I existed. I was starting from scratch, and I had a few friends that were doing things that were similar. One had his own company that was really successful, and he was doing Shopify. He wasn't doing drop shipping. He had his own brand, and then the other, he was doing Amazon, and we didn't really talk about it until he mentioned he brought it up to me, and he was like, "Yeah, check this out. I'm doing this," and he was showing me some of the numbers, and
so he was actually doing it.
Yeah, he was actually doing it, and I had no idea. He was just kind of doing it, flying under the radar, and he brought it up to me, and I was at that time, I was working my 9-to-5 job, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, I'm making like $2,500 a month, and I'm working like a couple hours a week." And I'm over here, I'm like, "Dude, I'm working like 50, 60 hours a week, and you're almost making more than I am." And I'm grinding, like just working so dang hard every single day, and you're over here just like chilling and making $2,500. Now, $2,500, obviously, it wasn't enough for me to live the lifestyle that I wanted, but $2,500 to me saw the light at the end of the tunnel, and I was like, if I can make $2,500, dude, I can quit my 9-to-5 job, and I can work with that. And so
yeah, that's actually how I first saw Amazon, and the first, well, it was the second product I launched, but when that one got to the point where it was like it was making enough money to cover rent.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is legit.
Yeah, it's doable.
Just that, like yeah, okay, so like I have these videos on my channel, other people put them where it's like 10,000 a month, 50,000 a month. Yo, those numbers are legit. You can absolutely achieve them, but 1,000 a month is awesome. Like that covers your rent.
Difference.
You have rent covered every month passively.
Oh, for sure.
Like, if that's all you get, that's pretty cool.
and as soon as I saw that, I just like lit up, and I was like, dude, I can totally do this, and I'm going to. And that night, I went in and I just started researching, and within 2 weeks of me hearing about Amazon FBA, I had literally no idea it existed. I didn't think, and I always was wondering, like, how does Amazon ship so many units, so many different products to the customers? And it's because they're third-party sellers, private labeling. And it just blew my mind. And so as soon as I figured that out, I had 3 products ordered within 2 weeks, and I just jumped right into it. And I actually have a video on my channel of my first 3 products, and they all like kind of failed, but luckily like I didn't lose all that much money. The first product had a patent on it. I sold like 90 units in a week, and then I got shut down, and luckily I only ordered 100. So I made a couple $100. And when I saw that, I was like, dude, I just made that much money, and I didn't like lift a finger.
And it failed. Like,
yeah,
you made money and it failed.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was like, oh, I can do it again. And then the second one, that one just completely failed. I lost a couple $100. And then the third one succeeded, but it was a fidget pen, and that was right when Amazon put restrictions on fidget spinners.
That hit me too.
Yeah. And so I was doing really good with that, and then Amazon just like screwed me over, and I was like, hey, if I can do it for like, I didn't even know what I was doing, and I like somewhat succeeded. I still call them failures. I made some money, and so then from there I just kind of learned and launched new products and figured it out.
Dude, okay, so you said within 2 weeks you had products launched.
Yes.
That is so key to me because that's exactly what I've done with every like new thing I jump at. Like I try and do it fast.
Yeah.
And like I try and get through, because like every time you go after something new, like the first time or the first few times you go through it or at it, like it's rough, it's slow, it's
sure.
not smooth, like you run into errors and difficulties. But like the faster you can just go through that, the next time you go to do it, you've
Way
learned
easier.
so much and it's way more easier.
When people stress that they need to know every little detail, it's like learn on the way. And yes, granted, looking back in retrospect, I'm lucky. Like now Amazon is a lot more strict with like restricted products and patented products. Like now if you get caught doing that, like they might just suspend your account and you may be screwed over. So like back then they weren't as strict with it and they like gave you like a warning almost. So on those particular things, as long as you understand like what you can and can't do with Amazon, like that's like all you really need to know, at least in my eyes, to not like get screwed over and just literally get your whole business shut down. So those are the only really things that are really important at the beginning. The other stuff is going to come as you launch and as you experience the whole process.
Yep. Yeah, and I think it's just, like I said, it's just so key that like you just do it fast. Like when you find out about Amazon, like if you've heard of Amazon and you've been researching it or wanting to do it for more than like 2 or 3 months, like if money is the problem and you need some cash to get it started, okay, like no, but even then, like if you in 2 or 3 months you should be able to come up with cash to spend like $300 or $400 to get a product started.
Well, and that's another thing is a lot of people, and I completely agree, depending on what your goal in mind is, a lot of people say that you need $2,000 minimum for your first product. And I agree to a certain point. If you want to scale quickly and like make more money, obviously you need more inventory and you need to spend more money to make money. But the first few products that I launched, I spent like $200, then my next one was like 300, and then my next one was like 400. So I launched 3 products with almost under $1,000. And I didn't obviously spend and buy 500 units or 1,000 units. I bought like 100 units to kind of test the waters. But that's how I learned, and that was like the best thing that I've ever done, was just get started and not worry about failing. If I failed, okay, it's $200, I can make that back, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So.
What was so was it the fourth that you launched that took off, that worked?
The fourth, fifth, and sixth were like not, they didn't just like take off, they were consistent. They were just like, I always talk about in my channel, going after that low-hanging fruit, that low competition where it's not going to make you rich overnight. It's not going to be a 5-figure product. It's going to slowly build. And those products now, to where I'm at currently, they're doing 5 figures. All 3 of them are doing 5 figures. And it's because I started small, I built up the reviews, I built up the ranking, and now where I'm at now, those products are just absolutely crushing it. They just started really small.
So what's the difference between the first 3 and those next 3?
The first 3, I didn't have any software tools. I just was kind of going and picking what I thought was cool, what I was like kind of passionate about, or what I thought was cool, rather than actually looking at the data and breaking down, okay, this is the average reviews, this is how many times people are searching for this keyword. I didn't quite understand that process of Amazon is a giant search engine. People are searching for specific things, and if you can find those specific things that they're searching for, that's low competition, and you come to market with something that's like better and you differentiate a little bit, that's where you just see the massive success. So the first 3, I didn't really understand that, and then the second 3, I had the software tools. I took the time to take my product pictures. The first, I was just copying and pasting from Alibaba using those pictures. Not good.
I've done
Don't do that.
I've done it straight from other people's listings.
I got hit with a copyright, and it hurt my listing, and I wasn't able to get it back up because I got hit with the copyright, and then it took me a little bit to get the listing back and going. And
it's not the best way to do it.
No,
but if
it's
you have
not.
to rush it, it might work.
I don't recommend it. I don't. I try to keep everything 100% aligned with Amazon's guidelines.
Yeah, which is smart. I've actually had my I've had my account suspended, and I got it back, and it was actually wrongfully suspended.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, but like the point being, it sucks.
Oh, really for sure.
Bad. So yeah, like follow the and that goes for any. So I've been suspended from Amazon, Facebook, and YouTube.
That's funny.
All of them, and I've got them all back. But I will say, it's really awful to lose them. You can get them back. The best way to avoid all that is be super, super strict about adhering to their community guidelines, rules, regulations, all that. So like I had to go through the process of getting it back and all that. But yeah, it's a real pain when you lose them. Best advice is to just stick to those rules, because look, yeah, I got mine back, but it was a pain. Like it took weeks of actual hard work to actually get that done. And like I feel lucky that I got them back, because lots of times, like these are huge companies, and they run on like mostly computer systems, and some people that occasionally like jump in and manually check stuff. But for the most part, like these are huge companies dealing with, Amazon, dealing with millions and millions of sellers, YouTube, millions and millions of creators. And so it's like they don't have
they don't really care.
Yeah. They don't you're
and they don't need to care, because they're so big. And that's the thing, a lot of people with Amazon and things in general, they want to get to their end result as fast as possible, and a lot of times they're willing to break those rules to get as quick as possible. But for me, I'm looking at this more long term. I'm not looking to get rich overnight. I know that if I do things properly, like my first few products, I did it properly, and now today, a year later, they're just absolutely crushing it. It's because I took my time, and I wasn't just in it to make just as much money in 1 month as possible. I'm in it for the long run.
Yeah, you want to have a healthy, thriving Amazon store 4 years from now.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's see. You want to dive into some nitty-gritty of Amazon?
Yeah, we can do that for sure.
Okay. Actually, this is what I wanted to talk about, was the software tools. So the same thing happened to me when I first started. When I first heard about Amazon, the guy who introduced me, he sent me like one video of another guy who was like explaining how he'd just like over the past 6 months launched products on Amazon, and how he was just killing it. I believe he owned a law firm.
Okay.
And what he was saying in this video is like, look, I own a law firm, put in X number of hours a week, we get X number of dollars, it does well. He's like, but once I started selling on Amazon, I tripled what I was making, and I did that while doing a quarter of the amount of work. Yep. And so I was like, yeah, I want that. I want that. But the way he was, like, he taught how to do the research to find the product was super manual. It was like you have to click into each listing, you have to scroll down, look at the bestseller rank, and then you've got to open up what is it, FBA toolkit? The FBA toolkit, and then you got to go like hover over the lines on the graph to figure out how many sales are happening at the BSR. And so that's how I did it the first time, which is much more intensive, and so I found my first product that way, launched it. It sold, but I was like, but while it was selling, I learned about Jungle Scout, which is the software tool. It was one of the software tools you might be using.
No, so I started with Jungle Scout, and we can talk about that.
Helium 10
now I use Helium 10.
Same. We'll talk about that. Yeah. But so I found out about Jungle Scout, and if you don't know what these software tools are, what Jungle Scout is, or Helium 10, you can go onto Amazon, run a search, click a button, and it pulls up how many sales are happening for each product on that page, and other data points and indicators and stuff. But mainly what it did is it compiled instantly how many sales are happening and the level of competition, which is pretty much like the amount of reviews that each seller has on their product. But yeah, as soon as I found out about that, I was like, wait, hold up. So I just spent all this time to find this product that's selling mediocre, using all this manual research. But now there's this tool I can click a button and it's like, boom, floods all the information into one box, and I can sort it and look at it and go, that one's selling a ton. I want to sell that one. So when I found that out, I was like, dude, screw this product. Like, I basically just dropped the price down to break even, let that sell through.
Yeah.
And while that was happening, I grabbed 2 more products and launched those using Jungle Scout, using that software tool. Mm-hmm. And those next products they took off.
And that's what's crazy is these software tools, and when I first started,
which are linked down below, by the way.
Yeah, and when I first started, there weren't that many. Jungle Scout was like the first one in the industry, and I only used the Chrome extension. Now I use what's called Helium 10, and they have keyword research tools, which is called Cerebro and Magnet 2, and those 2 tools alone help me that much more verify and double triple check, and I know that product is in demand. I know the competition, I know people are searching for that product, and it just eliminates the guesswork and it makes it so much easier, and it takes me like a couple minutes to verify, whereas when you were doing it you had to literally manually check and it was a pain in the neck. And so to pay like $10-$30 to have these software tools, it is so worth it in my opinion.
So worth it. Do you use both Jungle Scout and Helium 10 now, or are you just strictly
So Jungle Scout,
10?
I have the Chrome extension still because when I got it, I had it for the lifetime, and I don't mind using the Chrome extension. The Chrome extensions are very similar between Helium 10 and Jungle Scout. Helium 10 does provide a little bit more information, but for the most part, they're very similar, and they provide very similar data.
From what I've seen, I think Jungle Scout provides like sales data that's a little bit higher than Helium 10, not by much, but I've kind of noticed that as like a comment. Not that it's like Helium 10 will show 500 sales, and then Jungle Scout will show like 500 sales, and Helium 10 will show like 500 sales, and Jungle Scout will show like 562. Like, but yeah, that's the only real difference I've seen at all.
And why I like Helium 10 is it's cheaper than Jungle Scout. If you combine all the tools, I actually did a comparison on my channel breaking down like the pricing differences. And Helium 10 offers like 20 tools in like one, and it's subscription based, and it just provides way more value. So that's another reason why I switched to Helium 10 is it just provides more value.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised when I found out about Helium 10 and started using it. Because, like, I was super stoked on Jungle Scout, and I was like, dude, Jungle Scout's, that's it.
Yeah,
like,
and that's what I thought, too.
And then I started using Helium 10, Cerebro, and was it Magnet?
Magnet, yeah.
And also the Chrome extension, which is called...
X-Ray.
X-Ray, yeah. And I was just like, wow, they built some powerful tools.
Did.
I was like, they really did, like, they... saw what Jungle Scout was doing, and they actually made it better.
And what's crazy is in that, it's called the Platinum Plan. It comes with the follow-up tool, so like an email autoresponder. It comes included with that. It comes with the X-Ray, the Chrome extension. It comes with
Let me ask you about their email tool. I haven't used their email tool yet.
It's incredible.
I've still been using JumpSend, and it hasn't been... They just switched JumpSend. They migrated it into Jungle Scout. It used to be separate. Now it's inside of Jungle Scout. And like I'm right now in an email chain trying to like sort out an issue, which is emails aren't sending when the product's sold. So it's like, but what do you say?
Helium 10 follow up. So I've done a few videos with Bradley Sutton. He's like one of the main guys at Helium 10. And he did a full like breakdown of follow-up, and when he was breaking down that tool, I was just looking at it because I've used multiple email follow-up tools, and what he was showing me the features and using it personally, it's by far like the most powerful, like just the features that they've added. They've just and that's the thing with Helium 10 is they weren't the first to market. They looked at what other people were doing, and then what they did is, okay, this is what's working, but let's make ours better. And so that's what's nice is they weren't the first to invent the wheel. They just basically looked what was out and existing and made theirs better in every single tool that they use. So that's why I like what they're doing, and for the price, it's just kind of a no-brainer for me.
Cool.
So
I'll probably go use their email. What is it? Follow
it's
up?
called Follow Up, yeah. And it's included in the Platinum plan. So if you're already paying for the Platinum plan, you may as well use all these tools. And then it has Refund Genie. You'll be surprised at how much money you can get back from Amazon just messing up, because they're supposed to automatically refund you, but sometimes it slips through the cracks. Refund Genie will basically find all that. They have alerts, so like as soon as you get a hijacker, you get a text message or an email saying, hey, something changed on your listing, whether it was in image, your title, the bullet points, someone, you lost the buy box. It just provides so much value for everything that comes with it.
So are you currently, how many products do you have up right now?
I have a total of like 5 products, and then I have variations of those 5 products.
That was my follow-up question. Okay. Do you put so I'm not sure like what exactly people are doing it or if they're doing it intentionally, but sometimes I see what people do with variations is they'll have like the variations on the same listing.
Mm-hmm.
Then what I've also seen people do is they break out their variations into separate listings.
So
do you break them out separate, or do you keep them all under the same?
So the reason why they do that is if you've ever sold on Amazon, or if you've ever shopped on Amazon, you know that reviews are crucial during the buying process, and it helps you have that credibility. And when you have a variation, let's say you have 3 products. We'll say we're selling a red pen, a blue pen, and a black pen. And you start building reviews on all of those 3 products. And so by the time after like 6 months, let's say you have 100 reviews, you have like 25 reviews on the black pen, you have 30 reviews on the other one, and 50 reviews on the other one. And you have those reviews and it add up to be 100. But as soon as you separate them, you have basically built up reviews, and you can take up literally the whole front page of that product,
so what they're doing,
you have the reviews built up already.
So they're initially launching the listing with all variants on the same listing. They accrue as many reviews as possible, and then they separate them out.
Yeah, to take up as much basically real estate on the front page as possible. So they have the reviews built up. It's a lot easier.
When you choose to separate them out, like, which I believe is disconnecting the child from the parent, right? Then how does Amazon decide like how many reviews go to which one? Is that just based off
if you go on and shop on Amazon, and if you click on like a variation, you can actually see on the reviews, it'll say like black pen.
Gotcha.
It will say blue pen.
So when you separate them, it just automatically tracks all that and does it.
Which is
so is that what you've done?
I've done that, and it's worked extremely well.
Really?
Yeah, and it's just easier because like when I go to launch a product, I basically already have a product that has 50 reviews, and I just add a variation onto it, and it's a lot easier to rank it because it already is built up.
Right.
And as long as you like, and when you're doing variations, you can't just like say you have a black pen and then all of a sudden you want to sell like a water bottle. You can't do that as a variation. That just, Amazon's going to flag you. The variation actually has to make sense.
I've seen it done.
Yes, people do it, but it's just
bad practice.
That's something that Amazon could suspend you for.
And they do sometimes, but lots of times they don't, which is super fresh. Dude, one thing I've seen, let's come back to that, but I just want to, because this is funny. One thing I've seen Chinese sellers do is they'll have a listing for a product, let's say it's a pen, and they'll run that listing for a long time and stack up all these reviews, and then they just swap the product on the exact same listing. And that's like now they're selling a water bottle, and if you go read all the reviews,
it's all about a pen.
All the reviews are about a pen. It's like, yo, Amazon, please shut this down. Like, you suspend me for not doing things wrong, and you won't suspend these people for just swapping products on a listing?
It's funny how that works. You would think Amazon is extremely smart. If you think that you can be smarter than them, you've thought wrong. But there are some loopholes and things that just slip under the cracks that I'm just like, how have you not caught that?
And it's the Chinese that always are the ones getting away with it.
It's crazy. Well, what they'll do is, it's super easy. Like, for example, I have products that I've discontinued, and if I don't go in and delete the listing, you can go in and technically sell on top of it. Yeah. And so they just go in and they find these listings that have hundreds of reviews, and they just change the title, and boom, they're selling a product, and it all of a sudden has 100 5-star reviews. And it's so easy. Like, it is the easiest thing to rank a product if you have 100 5-star reviews. Like, you can almost rank it in any, doesn't matter how competitive the niche is. You can launch and successfully rank and just crush that product.
Yeah. Bad practice, though.
Yeah, don't do it.
So how do you get your reviews? It sounds like you do pretty well with your reviews.
Yeah, so there's two main things that I do. 100% compliant. Obviously, I guess there's three. When I first launch a product from scratch, early reviewer program. You have to have a good quality product. If you have a crappy product, you'll get hit with 1-star reviews because customers are really picky. And that goes on top with just all products in general. You have to have a good quality product, or else you're not going to get 5-star reviews.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, that's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
Customers are so brutal. It drives me insane. Like, they'll complain about the stupidest things. And so you just need to, as a seller, just make sure the quality of your product is that good. And if you're selling it for $10, you sell it for $10. You could sell it for more, but you're selling it for $10 just to provide even more value. But that's another topic. But how I get reviews is thank you card inserts. And
real fast, you mentioned the early review,
early reviewer program,
whatever.
Yeah.
That's Amazon. Amazon's doing that. That's not like
100%. Yeah, that's
Facebook
100% compliant. Yeah.
Anybody can apply for that, correct?
Anyone,
but not everybody's accepted, or not all their products are accepted.
From what I've seen, anyone can do it. You pay $60. So what happens is you enroll in it. And Amazon, you don't pay Amazon any money until you get at least 1 review. And they say that you'll get between 1 and 5 reviews. They don't guarantee anything more than 1.
The course of what, a week, 3 weeks?
No, I can't remember the exact time. I'm pretty sure there is a time limit. I have to go back. But they basically say, like, if you're not getting any sales, the Amazon reviewer program isn't going to work. So you have to get sales from legit customers. You have to run PPC, and that's the only way to get like legit reviews. Doing it that way.
Do you run PPC right from the beginning?
I do. I mean,
with no reviews, you start running it.
The funny thing about that is people say not to, but the only way to get reviews is by selling the product. And so if you haven't sold a product and you just get 1 review and 1 order, that's pretty fishy. Amazon may not catch it, but that's like 1 for 1. Mm-hmm. Like the ratio of reviews isn't normally 1 for 1.
No, it's like 1 for 1,000.
Yes, exactly. So I run PPC and I try to get as many sales as I can. And what I do when I rank, like when I launch, I put a little coupon code, like a 10-15% discount. I don't do any giveaways. I've never done giveaways. If you do, you guys can get suspended. That's something that's really going on right now. But I'll throw in a little coupon code. And the reason why I do that is it separates myself from the competition. It just shows a little like orange coupon, and it pops out on the page, and so people are like, oh, I'll click on this because it has a coupon. Sometimes they don't even use the coupon, but it's just kind of a technique to get people to click. And then when
that's
they purchase,
part of the early reviewer program.
No, that's just part of my launch.
Like a second tactic. Okay.
And so once I start getting sales, I have a thank you card insert. And in the thank you card insert, I just basically am asking for their honest feedback on the product. You can't ask for a 5-star review. That's against Amazon's terms of service. I have a card kind of set up. And if you guys want, I have a Facebook group, and I actually have like a PDF where I show kind of like my template of the thank you card. I throw that in the packaging. It costs like it's $0.01, a thank you card for each of my products. I
know a lot of people will have this question. How do you get that card made?
You just go to Fiverr, and it literally costs you $5. You design it. You can put and I recommend putting your logo on it because that is another thing that will help you avoid hijackers. You put your logo on it, and then you just send it to your supplier, and they'll just put it in your packaging. I mean, most of the suppliers have dealt with Amazon customers, and they're familiar with the process, and they know how the labels work. They know the thank you card inserts. They know how to ship the products to an Amazon fulfillment center because they've been trained for the past couple years of how to do it. So it's nothing foreign to them. It's super easy. So that's the first way to get the reviews.
You go to Fiverr and have them design it?
Yeah, design it, yeah.
And then do they print them all out for you?
So I get the file, and then with the file, I send it to my supplier, and then they print them out and put them in each packaging. So it's super easy. It takes like 5 minutes to do. It's not complex at all. So that's the first way to get. That's one way that I get reviews, and then the second way is having that follow-up tool with Helium 10 is just sending up follow-up emails, checking in on their purchase, making sure everything went right, and then you ask them for their honest opinion as well. And the review rate, like every 100 orders, I may get one review. It's just a numbers game with Amazon, and with the follow-up emails, a lot of the customers have already opted out. And so we're just trying to do as much as we can to get the reviews, and you can't really do much else.
No, it's true, and Amazon's been doing that intentionally. They've been making it more difficult to get reviews. They've been making it where it is much more of an organic process that has to happen now to get those reviews, which is good. I honestly am really bummed. I just heard about Amazon FBA and started selling right when they banned the full-blown groups, where like back then you could just grab a product, be like, hey group, like here's the new product, go buy it, leave a review, and you just get as many reviews as you wanted. I missed that barely, but if I didn't, I'd probably be like 20 million in the bank right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like those reviews, they drive so much
they're
sales.
crucial.
So what would you say is out of those? Actually, I'm gonna answer this one. It's not one of the three. It's you gotta do them all.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is there's no way to track, oh, this review came from the thank you card, or oh, this review came from the follow-up tool. It does show what reviews do come from the early reviewer program. It says on the review, so you can see what comes from that. But the other ones, there's not really a way to track it.
So how long does it? So you've got those three in place. You just launched your product. How long is it taking? And I know this varies, like depending on sales velocity, all that. But how long would you say it takes to get a handful of reviews on your listing?
What I've seen personally is it depends on the product. Some products, like I have to pry at their teeth for them to leave a review, even if the product is just amazing. And other products, people, maybe it's the buyer, maybe it's the demographic of the customer, they just are more prone to leave the product. So it depends on the actual product itself is what I've seen. Some products, people just leave reviews a lot easier. And like, for example, products that I've launched last year, I've launched 2 products, just right off the top of my head, 2 products last year. One has 300 reviews and the other has only 50. And I've done the same exact process of getting reviews. It's just the demographic of this product is better than this. I don't know.
Is the sales velocity similar?
Yes, very similar. Okay. Very similar.
Yeah, I've seen that too. So I've taken a couple as well into the multiple hundreds of reviews. Mm-hmm. For me, that takes like a lot of time.
It does.
That like you don't.
It took me a year to get to 300 reviews.
That's not like a month or two.
No. People do get 300 reviews in a month, and the only way in Amazon, if you're watching this Amazon, if someone does that, they're doing something. They're manipulating the system, because I've tried it.
And they're a Chinese seller.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't work where just all of a sudden you have 300 reviews. It's just, even if you're selling, like I was selling, like for example, during Christmas, I was selling 300 units a day of one product. And I think in the month of December, I probably got 20, 30 reviews out of thousands of orders. Like it's just,
it's hard to
the
get
way
reviews.
it is.
Yeah. So do you, since you are adhering pretty strictly to like everything you should be, it's a little, I imagine, a little bit slower, more gradual growth. Whereas, so like first month, you might be like scratching your head a little bit, like, oh, hopefully this works.
Yeah.
But then what? Month 2, 3, 4, or is it in month 1 you're like set?
So
like how long does it take to get to the point where you're like, all right, I've got one that's working?
It depends on the product research. If you're familiar with Amazon, if you've ever watched his videos or my videos, I'm sure you say this: product research will make or break your business.
It's only about product research.
Yeah, that's all it is. Yes, there's other things to optimize your listing and keywords and launching.
But none of that works if your product research sucks.
Exactly. So if you have a good product and it's really low competition and you aren't just going after what I call home run products, you can rank and see pretty good success within that first month. Now, it's not like you're making 5 figures, but you start and you're like, hey, this is actually working. And then that second month, that third month, it just literally is a snowball effect. And it, like, from my experience, like when I have those products, it's just like good. And then the next month, it's like double, and then it doubles, and then it doubles, and then it triples, and it just compounds like crazy. And it's just takes time.
Yeah. I remember my third product I launched. It started off okay, like it worked and it was making enough to cover rent, I said, and I was like, that's cool. Like, I just like that's kind of like a little bit of a marker I use. Is like, if this can cover rent, or if it like covers food for a month, like that's a good thing, like that's good.
Don't just quit your job. Just like take your time. Like, you don't just quit your job. Oh, it's covering my rent, I'm quitting my job. Like, I wouldn't recommend that.
Yeah, I don't either. And in fact, if you watch my videos or my Instagram, whatever, like lots of times I'll say, and especially when people DM me like, hey, I want to drop out of school, or I just dropped out of school. I'm like, dude, I didn't drop out of school till I'd already made hundreds of thousands of dollars on Kickstarter campaigns. I'd ran successful Kickstarter campaigns multiple times, and then I dropped out of school. And I might have even, I'd have to go back and like really look at the dates here because it was close, but I may have even started, I think I started Amazon FBA also while I was still in school, and I was working 2 part-time jobs while I was in school. So it's like, yeah, when I hear people who are like, I just hate it, I gotta get out of here, like it's not for me. I'm like, wasn't for me either, I don't think, but
slowly work your way out.
Yeah, be smart about it. Also, there are those people who like jump ship, and that's what, like, if sink or swim, right? And so sometimes that does work for people where like they just jump and then they swim, right? But lots of people jump and drown.
Exactly.
You don't want to jump and drown.
Well, and the most people that jump ship, they have at least a month or 2 saved up for rent, like, so that you could actually eat and survive. I mean, like, you got to be smart about it.
It's true. This was what I was getting to with my third product. It was like, so like month 1, month 2, I saw that it was working, but I remember like, I was like, cool, it's working, and like I had everything set up, and that's what's cool about Amazon is like it's very front loaded. So once you have it set up and sales are happening and your follow-up systems are in place and everything like that, like you kind of just let it run. You'll go and tinker with your ad campaigns and just like do some maintenance, like check up on things, but
reorder
inventory, but it kind of just runs. And so it was kind of sitting there for like a month or 2. And then it was, I want to say it was like month 4, month 5. I looked at it and I was like, whoa, this thing's really moving now. Like, this is big money now. This isn't like just covering rent. Like, this is legit. Like, and that product in a year moved over 110,000 in sales. And like, so there's a lot of truth to it growing over the course of like months, and like especially like month 3, 4, 6. The only way I would, and that's if you have like all your systems in place where your PPC is running well, you're getting reviews through emails and inserts and that sort of thing. Like, you gotta have the engine
and you
going.
Didn't pick a product that's just gonna get super saturated.
Right, and that's where it'll go wrong, is either it gets super saturated or the demand for it diminishes. Like,
it's a trend.
Yeah, like fidget spinners is a good example of that. Dude, when fidget spinners, like that thing shot through the roof. But then real quick after, like, it was just like,
no one's buying them. Even if you go on Amazon right now, they're priced at like $7. Yeah, $7, and you were selling them for $20, just making like 90% profit margins, and now no one's even buying them.
Yeah, that was a rough one. I lost a lot. I lost some dough on fidget spinners. I lost like 8 G's on fidget spinners.
Oh man, that's rough.
But it was cool because like I ended up gifting it to like classrooms and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was cool, and like my nieces and nephews loved them. But yeah, I lost some dough on those, which was, dude, because it was painful. I saw it in the data early, and I was like, wow. So I grabbed some, launched them. And yeah, it was like $24.99 is what I was selling a fidget spinner for.
That's a joke.
And then within like a week, 2 weeks, they were being sold for like $3 on Amazon.
Yeah, it's a joke.
And the problem there is like the demand just went so crazy that every seller jumped on it. And what happened was the Chinese are the ones who make them and sell them, and they can make them for 10
Cheap,
cents
yeah.
maybe, right? And so when I first put in my first order, they were charging like $3 or $4 a unit, and I was selling them for like $25 a unit. But then within like 2 weeks, they were still charging $3 to $5 a unit, but now they were being sold on Amazon for $3 to $5 a unit.
It's a joke.
And the only one who could profit off of that, like still maintain a healthy profit margin, were the people who were making them, which is all the Chinese sellers.
Yeah.
So like I just got caught with a ton of inventory that like I couldn't really move, and then that was just a problem in all of Amazon's warehouses, and that's when they came out with the rules for fidget spinners, saying like, yo, they gotta abide by this, and that, which was really not because they needed them to abide by these rules, but they needed to clear all the sellers and all the excess, and so they came up with a way to basically like just get rid of all the crap fidget spinners and like just kind of clear their like.
All right, guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys want to follow Alex, I'll include the link down in the description below. Go ahead, check out his channel, give him a sub. I really appreciate you guys watching, and don't forget to leave a comment on this video. Let me know what you guys would like to see in the future, and like this video, and don't forget to subscribe. So we'll see you guys soon.